Hello everyone and welcome back. If you walk into a modern home today, it is easy to be impressed. We see beautiful premium walls, high-speed internet, and state-of-the-art appliances. Our material comfort is at an all-time high. But if we pause, strip away the luxury, and look closer, we find a painful reality. The emotional atmosphere inside those beautiful walls is often cold, silent, or fractured. We talk endlessly about environmental pollution outside our doors, but today we need to address a far more dangerous crisis, the silent emotional pollution inside our living rooms. Chronic marital friction, constant arguments, and relational distance have become the invisible smoke that our children are breathing in every single day. We rightfully worry about air pollution, water pollution, and food adulteration. If we filter our water, we wash our vegetables, and we buy air purifiers to protect our children's physical bodies. But as a clinician, I am here to tell you that mind pollution is far more dangerous than air pollution, water pollution, and food adulteration combined. Toxins in the air or water affect the lungs and the stomach, but the mind pollution caused by a fractured household climate alters the very architecture of a child's developing brain. Chronic emotional friction between parents is the invisible smoke that clogs a child's psychological sanctuary, and no physical filter in the world can clean that out. I see parents working day and night to provide the absolute best for their children, the best nutrition, fancy clothes, the finest schools, and the most advanced health care. But we have to ask ourselves a difficult question. What is the use of a perfectly sanitized, physically safe room if the psychological climate of the home is toxic? A child doesn't just grow on vitamins and vaccines. A child thrives on the emotional security generated between his or her mother and father. When that relationship turns into a battlefield, the innocent bystander who gets hurt the most is the child. So, how did we get here? Why are our houses becoming more luxurious while our households are becoming more fragile? To truly understand child health, we have to look past the symptoms and examine the roots. To fix the climate of the home, we cannot just start when the child is born. We have to look at how the soil was prepared before the seed was ever planted. Let us look at the slides to see how we can begin changing this narrative together.
Now let us try to understand why premarital counseling based on the ancient wisdom of Bharat is the ultimate foundation for holistic child health and emotional security. Our ancestors have told us everything we need to know about human life. They have told us about the goals of life, that is Purusharthas. The Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma is the code of conduct we have to follow in our life. Artha means earning money, and Kama means fulfilling our sensual desires. Moksha is the last goal of life, where we realize our true nature and free ourselves from all entanglements. These are linked to the four stages of life or ashrams. The first ashrama is the Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is the equivalent of student life. This is the time when we have to know about Dharma. In ancient India, we had the Gurukula system of education where students were taught two types of knowledge, Apara Vidya and Para Vidya. Apara Vidya means worldly knowledge, which is taught in our schools and colleges today, and Para Vidya is spiritual knowledge, which is completely neglected in modern education. After learning all these things, a person takes up the householder's life. This is known as Grihastha, and this is the second stage of life. During this, a person earns money and also enjoys sensual pleasures. And the next two ashrams are Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. These two should be dedicated to realizing our true nature and attaining moksha. Our ancestors have also described 16 samskaras. are rituals. And among these 16 samskaras, the first three deal with the period before birth. They are Garbhadana, Pumsavana, and Simanta. These three deal with the period before childbirth itself. So our ancestors knew about epigenetics thousands of years ago. Epigenetics is the branch of knowledge which deals with the influence of our behavior and environment on the genetic manifestation. That is, some of the genes can be switched on or off depending on our way of life. This doesn't change the genetic structure, but some genes can be switched on or off. This is known as epigenetics, and our ancestors knew about this thousands of years ago. The samskaras prove this beyond any doubt. And according to this, the emotional and biological soil of the parents is the very first stage of child health care. Now, if we look at today's life, what has happened? There is disruption in the family life. The traditional Indian joint family system has eroded. This used to serve as natural emotional cushion, and its erosion has isolated young couples, leaving them without ancestral mediation, emotional buffers, or collective wisdom during marital friction. And this has resulted in increase in divorce rates and also chronic domestic conflict. Now, all these things will affect the child's mind. Delicate mind of the child can act as emotional sponges. They absorb all these things, and this will lead to long-term behavioral problems in the child. That is why it is very important for would-be couple to have good relationship with each other and then go for becoming parents. The Indian ethos, marriage is not merely a social or legal contract. It is modeled as a sacred partnership in dharma and mutual spiritual evolution. There is a need to counsel and educate would-be parents in all these things. So there is a transition from what do I get from this relationship to what shared environment are we building for the legacy we welcome. Many of the problems are due to ego clashes, jealousy, and selfishness. There is a need to control all these things in order to have a proper relationship between parents, and this goes a long way in ensuring that the child which is going to be born will have a proper development.
Hear a lot about gender equality today, but from the perspective of our ancient culture, saying men and women are equal misses the point. It is not about sameness, it is about equal importance. In the ethos of Bharat, we don't look at gender as a competition. We recognize that men and women have distinct complementary roles, and in many ways, our culture actually places the feminine principle on a much higher pedestal, viewing humanhood as the very embodiment of Shakti or creative energy. The modern mistake is thinking that a successful marriage means fixing your partner. But a marriage isn't a project to be managed, it is a partnership to be nurtured. The secret to a stable household is simple. Stop trying to fix your spouse. Instead, turn that gaze inward, introspect, and ask yourself every day, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better wife? When both partners take full responsibility for their own refinement, the relationship heals itself. Let self analysis, self correction, and self improvement be our watchwords. When a household loses its alignment with dharma, then artha and kama turn into sources of anxiety and friction, creating mind pollution. The Purusharthas provide a blueprint to keep the parental relationship nurtured and balanced. Many of today's household conflicts arise because we confuse the boundaries of these stages. We try to manage Grihastha Ashrama without the solid foundation of dharma, leading to fractured homes. When both partners understand that their current stage is a shared vehicle to practice dharma, artha and kama, while ultimately preparing the soul for moksha, the everyday petty arguments fade away.
Ancient texts highlighted that The emotional and attitude of parents before conception shapes the child's temperament. Now, this is being proved by research in modern epigenetics, which I have already referred to. Today's science confirms that parental cortisol and stress physically alter biological pathways passed on to the fetus. So, it is very important for would-be parents to have good relationship with each other so that the child becomes a healthy and happy one. A harmonious parental relationship is the emotional fallout required to prevent psychological fractures in the unborn child. You may be knowing that pregnant women are given folic acid in order to prevent some birth defects. Deficiency of folic acid is known to cause birth defects. So, along with that, there is a need for an emotional folate, which is the harmonious relationship between the would-be parents. This will go a long way in rearing healthy and happy children. There is a need to teach younger generation about the importance of patience. Today people are highly impatient and they want instant gratification. This leads to many problems inside the family. They also don't have the quality of resilience nowadays and they get easily upset over trivial things. It is also important to have support systems both within the family and within the community. Our temples can act as counseling centers for those people who need advice regarding life. We began this talk by looking at the gloomy family atmosphere of the modern world where Wi-Fi is connected but hearts are disconnected. But the antidote has always been within our hands. Dampatya Sukha is the soil. The child's mind is the seed. If we want a beautiful, thriving tree, we must tend to the soil long before the seed ever grows. Let us stop focusing on fixing each other and instead focus on refining ourselves. Let us integrate this preconception harmony as a fundamental pillar of preventive health care and leave behind a true legacy of conscious parenting. Every effort must be made to prevent divorce, which can have disastrous consequences for both partners. Occasionally, divorce proceedings start when the woman is pregnant. The psychological trauma experienced by the pregnant woman will have deleterious effects on the developing baby. If divorce takes place after birth of a child, he or she will be deprived of the love of both parents. Such children may go astray, leading to social problems. We are just travelers on this planet. Let us make our journey pleasant by curbing our ego, greed, jealousy, and selfishness. Life is never smooth for anyone. If we are strongly rooted in dharma, we get the required strength to overcome the challenges of life. Couples should learn to compromise and help each other during the tough moments of life in order to maintain harmony at home. Only healthy families can create a healthy society. Let us also spend some time contemplating on the ultimate goal of human life. Thank you so much for your time.